And as always, we're starting off with the top developments coming in at the hour. Two coastal Indian states are also up for grabs in the Indian general elections, and both are voting the incumbent government out. The Biju Janata Dal, the BJD, or BJD's 24-year reign in Odisha is on shaky grounds. The BJP is in pole position to form the government as things stand, with leads in 74 of the 147 constituencies. Now, the majority mark is 147, and the BJP is poised to take power for the first time on its own. It was in alliance with the BJD from 2000 to 2009. The BJD is suffering extensive losses in its bastion of coastal Odisha, with the BJP making gains in southern and northern Odisha. India's longest-serving Chief Minister, Naveen Patnaik, is leading in Kantabanji in western Odisha by just over 1,300 votes, while leads his traditional Hindley seat by close to 4,000. Now, the BJP is sweeping the parliamentary seats in the state and leads in 19 of the 21 seats. The face of the BJP in Odisha, Union Minister Dharmendra Pradhan, is leading in Sambalpur by over 60,000 votes. Now, there's the next state that we like to speak about. Shifting focus to Andhra Pradesh, it's a double delight for Chandrababu Naidu's TDP, the Telugu Desam party. And they are sweeping the Andhra Pradesh Assembly as well as state's Lok Sabha seats. They are on track to dethrone Jagan Reddy's YRCP in the state. Naidu is all set to play the role of kingmaker in this closely fought Lok Sabha poll. Let's just take a look at the alliances that Naidu has formed over the years. Naidu was part of the NDA government between 2014 and 2019, so this is definitely not the first time. He's very much familiar with the BJP. He then left the NDA before 2019 Lok Sabha polls and joined the Congress-led UPA alliance to lose in both Lok Sabha and Assembly polls. Soon after the loss, he distanced himself from the Congress and became part of NDA in March 2024, shortly before the election season began and just a few days before the national elections were announced. And here we are all these weeks later, with Chandrababu Naidu being crowned as the kingmaker in the state.
What is the update? All right, now Idris Sloan is joining us live from Jammu and Kashmir, and big developments coming in from there. Both former chief ministers, Mehbooba Mufti and Omar Abdullah, seem to have lost on their seats. So huge development there. Idris, take us through what's happening there and what are the leads suggesting now? Otherwise,
well, absolutely, it's a big surprise. I'm sure for both the former chief ministers of Jammu and Kashmir. They've just tweeted and accepted their defeat. Omar Abdullah came out first and said that he has accepted the defeat to Engineer Rashid, who's been languishing in the jail from the last many years. He's in Tihar jail at the moment as well. He was booked under a case by the NIA of terror funding, and since then he has been languishing in the jail. He was an MLA in the previous assembly when Jammu and Kashmir had the elected government, and now Engineer Rashid does seem to have a huge lead ahead of both People's Conference candidate Sajjad Ghani Lone as well as the former Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Omar Abdullah. On the other hand, if we talk about the second seat, which is the Anantnag constituency, Mehbooba Mufti has also just now tweeted and accepted her defeat to the National Conference candidate Mia Altaf. There is a huge gap there as well. So that is one of the reasons that Mehbooba has accepted her defeat. So it's something that was not predicted by the even the exit polls. They were giving all the seats to the National Conference, including the Baramulla seat, which Omar Abdullah seems to have lost at the moment because there is a huge margin. In Jammu, if we talk about the two seats, at both the seats, BJP is still leading. Although if we talk about Udhampur seat, there seems to be a very less difference between Dr. Jitendra Singh of the BJP and the Congress India Alliance candidate Lal Singh. So there we need to keep an eye definitely on. While as if we talk about Ladakh Union Territory, the independent candidate seems to be way ahead of the candidate that was put up by the Congress party there. so independent candidates winning there as well. So 2 seats in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh seem to have gone to the independent candidates, while as National Conference will retain 2 seats, one in Srinagar and one in South Kashmir, while as 2 seats in Jammu at the moment both of them are being led by the Bharatiya Janata Party.
It is hugely significant, the fact that 2 independents are leading. The Ladakh seat, earlier I believe the exit polls had given to the Congress, so that's a major setback to them. The National Conference also, huge setback. What does this do to state, the union territory politics there in Jammu and Kashmir? And this of course comes after the abrogation of Article 370. That's in play as well in these elections.
Well, absolutely. It was definitely a litmus test for the political parties in Jammu and Kashmir, as this was the first election taking place after the abrogation of Article 370. If we talk about Ladakh region, the independent candidate is basically a former member of the National Conference who decided to go on his own to fight this election. However, Omar Abdullah a while ago was asked the same question, that he was a former National Conference candidate and now he's fighting independently in Ladakh and is leading there. So Omar said he's happy with his win. He's happy basically because they wanted to keep BJP away in Ladakh as well. BJP had changed their candidate in Ladakh this time. The sitting MP was changed and they had fielded a fresh candidate in Ladakh, which seems it didn't work for them. But the Indian National Congress had also fielded a candidate there who's definitely trailing behind the independent candidate at the moment. If we talk about Kashmir region, people did come out in huge numbers. There are 58% of people came out and voted this time, which was the best in terms of in the last 4 decades. Which also meant that people wanted some change on the ground, and the change is visible. Both the chief ministers of Jammu and Kashmir, former chief ministers of Jammu and Kashmir, seems to have lost the election.
Yes. All right. Thanks, Idris, for getting us those updates. Of course, we'll be coming back to you as the day progresses further. We're nearing the end of, reaching the results now. As of now, we now like to cut across to our guest, Dr. Ashwini Kumar, former Union Minister for Law and Justice of India and former Rajya Sabha MP and attorney as well. Sir, welcome to WION World. It's one pleasure having you here on the show with us. Dr. Kumar, I wanted to understand from you, it was just a few hours ago that we were still discussing the 400 par mandate. We were still discussing the, BJP coming in with that kind of majority. Now it's almost come down to whether they'll even cross 300. BJP on its own seems unlikely to even get that 272 mark. What are your thoughts on how this has fared so far? Was this always the assumption? Did the BJP always know that they're going to achieve just these numbers and 400 par, 400 par was just something to flummox the opposition?
No, clearly not. The BJP was more than certain that it would cross very, very comfortably the 300 mark on its own. This is quite a reverse for the BJP, unexpected largely. But I must tell you that this is the beauty of democracy. With all the psephologists claiming scientific analysis at their command, were unable to get the mood of the people right. Most of us also were not exactly on the mark on either side of the political divide. But democracy has prevailed. Democracy has triumphed. That is the seminal message of this election. And one of the reasons for the reverses that the BJP has suffered, particularly in Uttar Pradesh and in the Hindi heartland, which is surprising, is a reaction to the level of political discourse that was attributable to the BJP and the distrust of the people of India in any form of concentrated power. India is a nation, remember, born to freedom after fighting the British. Any kind of arrogance of power goes ill with the people. And that is what has happened. Quite clearly, my biggest satisfaction is that the democratic ethos and spirit of constitutionalism has prevailed in the country. And Congress Party must get the credit for putting democracy, dignity, and justice up front in the manifesto. However, the BJP can claim consolation in the fact that it has now become a pan-India party, establishing its footprint in the southern states of India. And even today, with all the reverses, the leadership of Prime Minister Modi as the dominant person in the country stands established.
Okay, so you are agreeing that this election also, the fact is that the BJP has done well in the south, and are you saying that the Modi wave continues? You know, the 2014 elections were on a Modi wave. The 2019 elections were about national security. What was that one defining aspect of this election? And, you know, Mr. Kharge went on record to say 295 is what they're getting. The India bloc at the moment at 223. Are they possibly going to get more numbers?
Well, I don't know how the numbers will play themselves out, but the fact is that Mr. Kharge is closer to his estimation. Most of the people who are sympathetic to the Congress, but not within the framework of the day-to-day functioning of the Congress, thought that the Congress may not do as well. I think Congress at 97 has made impressive gains, although it would have wanted to go past 100 by far. That has not happened. But the fact remains, to answer your question, that the dominance of Prime Minister Modi as a single most acceptable leader in the country cannot be doubted. That's clearly written, because whatever votes the BJP and the NDA alliance has got is really in many ways a vote for Modi. The campaigning was for Modi, by Modi, and the votes were cast in the name of Mr. Modi. Nobody even cared to know who the candidates of the BJP were. So that fact you can't take away, that credit you can't take away from Mr. Narendra Modi. Any objective analyst would tell you that this election, while it reinforces the latent wisdom of the Indian people who have come out to vote against concentration of total power in any one party or individual, have also recognized somewhere the chemistry which Prime Minister Modi has with a vast section of the Indian people.